Nebraskans are pissed. Bigly, Askins, the Askins are pissed. Nebraskans, no one wants to hear Farmer John with his butt crack showing, married to a Karen, complaining about losing your little farm when you voted for me. They don't feel sorry for you, and I don't need your votes anymore, so I don't care. Bigly, Nebraskans, what did you think was gonna happen? If all you workers were Mexicans and we got rid of all the Mexicans, who's gonna be your workers? Guess what? You can take a page from the book of the Native Americans, followed by the African Americans, Chinese Americans, Indian Americans. Listen, what we're gonna do is crash the economy so all the rich people can buy up everything for super dirt cheap, including your land, Nebraska farmer dude. I don't know. And once we buy it for dirt cheap, we will hire you to work on said land. Hello, this is a tale as old as time. We've done it so many times before.
This lady is very right, because if you hear what she says, it's like now Trump doesn't really care much about the farmers in Nebraska. Now they can do whatever they want. He got what he wanted, he got the votes. Now he's just doing whatever he can. So they're just left out there to dry. So let's hear what the others have to say, and then at the end of the videos, we'll have a summary of the situation in Nebraska. Thank you.
Sad day in America when all we can afford is some ground beef. Work 40 hours all week and can't even afford a steak. Something going on. Come on now, Trump. Help us out.
Oh, hey there, bud. I almost missed you. Couldn't hear you over the sound of me munching on my steak. Yeah, it seems kind of interesting. It looks like you're asking for socialism. You're reaching out to the government to help you because you don't have steak money. You only have ground beef money. But you know what? Maybe you should try something. I have a strategy. Why don't you try pulling yourself up by your bootstraps?
Hey, Nebraska, do you need a tissue for your issues? Hey, Nebraska, save the drama for your mama. What happened, Nebraska? Did voting for Trump ruin your economy? Oh, that's weird. That's so weird. It's kind of like we told you so, right? Oh, I love this. I like to stick it in your face and rub it in. It's kind of like, when Trump was telling everybody he was going to come after the undocumented people in this country that were working hard and deport them, that they would kind of move to a state they felt safe in. And apparently, Nebraska wasn't one of them.
The good thing about Trump is that he's doing everything that he said he's going to do. So I don't know why the Republicans are worried or they are shocked. He did say this, and now he's doing whatever he said he was going to do.
So as a Nebraskan, the farmers predominantly voted for the current president. They also voted for Pete Ricketts and Deb Fischer, who aren't doing anything for them. And China announced that they're not going to buy corn and soybeans today, or I think they've done it over the last couple days. I think it was last week, because of the trade war their current president that they voted for decided to wage, a trade war with China. They're not going to buy your goods. And I know that a lot of you have said that you want aid. Well, as a taxpayer who lives in Nebraska who did vote for the right candidate, I don't think I want my tax dollars going to bail you out. I think you actually should sit in your decisions and feel the effects. You want us to. Every time we vote for a Democrat and you say they're horrible. So at this point in time, I'm going to tell you the same thing you say to me back. You wanted to vote for this. Now you get to deal with the consequences. And I don't think I should have to bail you out.
So the farmers are in a fix because They were used to getting handouts from the government, subsidies and stuff to use the farms. So this year there's no subsidy, and the workers are nowhere to be seen. So they can't be helped. I think this is a gone case, man. Let's continue.
All right, Nebraska, this one's for you. See, what you did was you voted for a man on lies. Now, that same man, we already know he don't like to pay for his bills. They told you that over and over. You got cities that he still owe money to. You got places that have shut him down because of the way that he didn't pay his bill. There's places that he can't go back to because of the way he didn't pay his bills. And when you signed that piece of paperwork, that contract with Joe Biden, he was a man of his word. But then you elected 70% of you farmers elected to put the man in who does not keep his word instead of actually dealing with half of the administration that was running, again, who not only gave you those contracts, but are known to keep their word. So while you were out voting against the people who work for you that are undocumented, that you feel are living off the government and getting welfare, you too found out that you were part of the welfare queen section, because if it wasn't for the federal government bailing you out and giving you extra stuff to improve what you have, because you must have forgot the federal government was making money off of you. USAID, yeah, you made some money off of it, but the government did too.
So this morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was a bunch of people crying, why does anybody care about Nebraska? When we voted for Kamala Harris, when I cast my vote for Harris, that was me saying, I care about you, and I want you to survive and thrive. Okay, you knew better than anybody else that your state thrives and survives off of migrants' backs. Okay? And instead of them waiting for ICE to come, they decided to peace out before they could come and get them. I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. This is what you voted for. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, this is exactly what you voted for.
That is what they voted for, because Trump did exactly what he said. He's going to deport every illegal immigrant. It didn't matter whether they were working for the farmers in Nebraska and all the other farmers. He didn't even consider that. Yeah. Let's continue.
Hey there. MAGA regret. It is really, really happening. And I grew up in rural Iowa, just 1 hour away from Omaha, Nebraska. Both of my children live in Nebraska. Most of my family are in Nebraska right now. And so this is a really big deal for me. But you guys voted for this. And I don't want to go through the whole thing that everybody else is doing. What I want to talk about is decency. So when I grew up, and probably the same thing for boomers, if you broke something, you made up for it. So say you go borrow your neighbor's ladder and it breaks. You go buy them a new ladder, your wife bakes them a cake or a pie, and you express your sorry several times, and you feel bad. So now your vote, because you did not pay attention the last time or read Project 2025 or anything to point you in the right direction and show you what exactly was going to happen, this is the vote that you made. And so I see many of you coming on here crying fake little tears, but I have zero sympathy for you, because what are you actually doing now? Are you protesting in any way? What are you doing besides trying to get other people to feel bad for you? It's going to require action, and it's going to require you to really go out and mobilize.
Yeah, I think she's right. Because complaining and saying, oh, we're going to go bankrupt in, I don't know, 6 months or something, doesn't help anything. So I think they should just mobilize themselves and do something, demonstrate, and show the government that you are suffering. If you're not willing to do that, you can't get any sympathy from the population, because you are the ones who voted in the administration that is making your lives harder. So yeah, something to think about.
I voted for Donald J. Trump in the 2024 presidential election, and I am starting to regret my vote. When I voted for Donald Trump, I was under the impression that we would be getting rid of the undesirable illegal aliens. Now I have no one to work on my farm. What am I supposed to do? Pay them a living wage? This isn't handout city. I'm not giving these people no handouts. And how am I even supposed to do that anyway? I thought the plan was to tax the poors. Okay? I thought we were going to tax the poors. I make $25,000 a year. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them poors. But why did my taxes raise? I thought us good folks were supposed to be getting tax cuts. That was what I thought. Plus, I'm white. Why did my taxes raise, and why do I have no one to work my farm?
So you wanted proof that the immigration policy would be affecting everyone? Look at your grocery bill next month and the next coming months. ICE ramped up raids in places like Ventura County and parts of the Central Valley fields in California. They went through fields, they went through houses, you name it, grabbing people up. Now, farmers are seeing up to 70% of their workers not showing up to work, left by fear of being arrested. And that means fruits, vegetables are going unharvested, which means they're going to go bad in the fields. A 1/6 generation farmer put it like this: if 70% of your labor force vanishes, so does your crop. And most local workers don't want to pick these plants. And it's a real worry. Cropland is worth nearly $60 billion, and that could be at risk of going into bankruptcy, being sold off to the next bidder, and that bidder may not be an American company.
When China said they don't give a fuck, they meant it. If you haven't heard, China has ended its beef exports from the U.S. Losing those exports is worth $1.6 billion to the U.S. And you want to guess which state exports the most? Nebraska. And they have a $400 million budget short, which means the Nebraskan ranchers are not going to be able to get a subsidy from the state because they're already $400 million short. China took that beef exports right over to Australia. And China didn't stop there. They are also reducing their soybean exports by 9.5%, or almost $5 billion. And Indiana is going to feel that pain, seeing that they export $2.6 billion, or 60% of their soybean crops, to China.
So another thing that is affecting the farmers is that due to the tariffs and trade wars, now China has retaliated and decided to look elsewhere for their products. So they need some meat, they need soybeans, so they are looking elsewhere. So all that production that was being done in the US has been outsourced to other countries like Australia. So you see, the Chinese are not losing anything from this. In fact, they are gaining. Yeah, let's continue.
Someone please go check on Nebraska. Do you guys know what's going on over there? And if you don't know what's going on, that's why you have me, so I can explain it to you. But básicamente, Nebraska is about to go bankrupt in 6 months. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to smile. It's just a little ironic because majority of Nebraska voted for you-know-who, el pendejo, right? Majority of Nebraska is like, does anybody care about us? Like, we're about to go bankrupt in 6 months. And the reason why they're about to go bankrupt is because the majority of the workforce in Nebraska is built off, who do you think? The back to Latinos, right? That are undocumented. And they're scared to go to work. And they're not giving any money to the farmers. So their agriculture is dead. They're like, who cares? Like, can somebody come and help us? No, mijo. I have no pity for you. Sorry.
So I'm seeing a lot of people being confused about how, Nebraskans and people in agricultural communities can be voting against their own interests. And I have a lot of experience with these people. I'm related to them. And obviously when I talk about them, I don't mean all farmers, and I don't mean all the people in these states, but in my experience, the farmers have been living a fairy tale for many generations. They have been told by the government and by our own society, that they're extremely valuable, which they are, but that they are self-made men and that they exist in a vacuum and that we would be lost without them. And most weird, that they don't receive any kind of assistance, that they're self-made, which is a fairy tale. They receive a lot of assistance, but this is the story they've been telling themselves. This is the story that the government has been telling them, and this is the story that they've passed on to their children.
Well, now the fairy tale has come to an end. Because if they thought they were self-sufficient, they were independent, newsflash, you're not. You depended on the government, you depended on China to buy your produce, you depended on donor funding. So now is the real time to see how real business is done. Yeah, let's continue.
Nebraska, it seems that you should always be grateful for what you have. And at this point, y'all wasn't grateful enough because you thought voting against your interests was better for you. Now, Nebraska's about to go broke. They say Nebraska's going to go broke in about 5 months. They'll be filing for bankruptcy. The whole entire freaking state, not just one farm. All of them, whole state. Because Nebraska is a cattle ranch state. They got corn and all that stuff. But all the farmers are going broke and about to lose their farms. You want to know why? I bet you can guess why. But see, this is what voting against your interests gets you. Now, how long did Trump say, if I'm elected, I'm deporting everybody? He's been saying it for 2 years. But yet and still, the Nebraska farmers who own all these cattle farms and corn and all soybean, all this farmland, 95% of their workers are undocumented workers because they can get the good labor for a cheaper price. Being that Trump had already stopped all the free money going to the farmers, the farmers decided, we gonna vote with Trump. We gonna vote with Trump. Now, they ain't got no workers because either the workers have been deported or they not showing up.
Nebraska's biggest part of their economy at GDP is farming.
Right.
And they said 45 to 65% of the workforce is undocumented.
45 to 65%?
Yes. So,
oh, shit.
With Trump rounding up illegals, what have those illegal immigrants done? They jump ship. They don't want to get raided while they're working. They don't want they don't want to get families broken up. So now, so they predicted that Nebraska is 2 quarters away from being bankrupt. The whole state, because there's no workers. Half of their workforce is undocumented immigrants. So now Nebraska is in a panic, is in an uproar. And most of them, farmers are Trump supporters. They got exactly what they voted for.
So Donald Trump, not in these exact words, but basically admitted this week that a lot of the things that he's been doing, a lot of the policies, a lot of the executive orders that he's been signing off on was all made with the intention of getting black people back into the field. It was made with the intention of getting black people back into the field. All right, so on Tuesday, Donald Trump made an appearance, right, on CNBC's Squawk Box. And on that platform, he actually made a lot of commentary in regards to the situation with the deportations, migrant workers, the state of America's agriculture, and he made comments on inner city people not doing farm work. I want you to always remember that when they mention inner city, that means black. In Donald Trump's exact words, people that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. Naturally. They don't get a bad back because if they get a bad back, they die. He also went on to say that they are very, very, very special people and they cannot be easily replaced. Remember what I said, anytime that they mention the words inner city people, inner city communities, inner city neighborhoods, that's black. That's code for black. Black, blackity black, okay? Black people. And it is because of that exact commentary that it reconfirms for me, okay? Not confirms, but reconfirms, meaning that I already knew. But it reconfirms that the plan from the very beginning with these executive orders, right, was to further destabilize black communities, further destabilize poor communities, but black mainly, so that you could put pressure on these communities so that you could get them to go back into the field, right? And then once you get them back in the field, bingo, you've made America great again.
So if that was the plan, I think Trump has lost the plot, because as you can see, the blacks are not going back to the farms. They are well read, they are well educated, they're doing their own businesses. The ones who own the black farms are doing well, they're not dependent on the government, so they can't feel anything right now, they're okay. So that plan will never work. So unless they do something drastic within these 6 months, these Nebraska farmers are going to face it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Let's see in the next video. Thank you.